This residential time summary report? Yes. Where the mail was returned unclaimed? Yeah. And the mail was returned unclaimed on February 13th of 2013, Judge Aurora? Yeah. And you can't reverse your decisions because you're judges. Every day that my sons have been in the wrong grade, yeah, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you for the knowledge that as soon as I informed you, you were obligated to enforce my custody rights. Now, I've been on trial for the better part of the last 3 years for the allegation of violating your protection order when you had the evidence that I wasn't in Squim and I wasn't in Brennan. Pooh, pooh. And then every day your thought was, well, we don't feel any guilt. Ooch. It's probably similar to a doctor that abuses and molests Olympic athletes that gets 175 years in prison because nobody really wanted to listen to women. Women are having a problem with how society views them. Seems like I'm having a problem with how society views me. Pooh. Now, this, I was actually in Port Angeles on December 31st of 2015. Yes. I was not at North Swim Avenue. Yes. And I did email, one email. But the truth of the matter is, it wasn't domestic violence or child abuse. It said, give me every IP address in the world. Yes. Now, the court taking it upon their discretion, Brent Basden, to reissue this? Yes. Without an actual signature of the petitioner because you said, oh, it's in your discretion. No signature there. Pooch. But this signature, yeah, is not the same as that signature. Can you see the difference in the forgery? So you used abuse of power, forgery, and the refusal to enforce the actual laws so that my wife could get all of the residential time with my sons so that I would never find out exactly how big the crime is. Now, when I've told you that I want a phone call from them, yeah, you thought you'd cover all this up. Mhm. Probably the doctor thought he would cover up all his molestation of Olympic female athletes. Raw rage. Now, I'm going to use this experience, yes, to do certain things in the United States, and you're going to have to let me do them. I'm going to change the judicial system so that no judge right now will ever find a person guilty of an adult crime unless they were an adult at the time of the crime. I'm going to change the actual prison system of the United States so that those that are still maturing, yes, they can learn from their crimes, yes, and they can be matured so as to not be institutionalized and then they won't go back to prison. And for those over the age of 25 that commit any crime, they have no excuse. They can go to prison. They can spend the maximum amount of time in prison. See, when you're over 25, you're mature enough to understand exactly what you're doing. Are you mature enough today, Sheriff? Now, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. False witness. Residential summary report. My wife said I was crazy, but I'm not. You issued a protection order without jurisdiction of law, and you issued a dissolution of marriage without jurisdiction of law. And then when I inform you of the crime, you decided, well, we're just not going to do anything. Then you made up additional crimes where you did bear false witness against myself as thy neighbor. Ooch. had me arrested for crimes you did know I had not committed. Poof. Where I wasn't as women, I wasn't in Brennan. Poof. Oops. Now you've been coveting, haven't you? You've been coveting. You're in the family and you're never content with what you have. You always have to take something that belongs to somebody else. The assets that you have, Sheriff, where'd you get them? Did somebody, where'd you get your assets? Now, verse 18, and all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. You know, there have been anointings where, in fact, I thought about an experience. There was a person named Manny Mufasa that was an actual good friend of mine. He was in the Palawan Mafioso, and we spent a lot of time together, and I really did like him. But somebody decided to do something mean to me. I took a shower that morning and got dressed. Walked down there and I began to talk to him about exactly what. Well, let's say God was to throw you around a little bit. It's kind of an odd experience. Yes. See, where I was standing and where Manny was standing, there was an actual video camera that could observe his body movements. Ooch. And at the Tamuning Plaza, Manny decided to be a little mean to me and said, well, I'll call CPS on you. And I said, well, if my sons are missing, I will call the police right now. I am very much used to working with people that are very, very dangerous. I did tell Heidi at one point, I'm used to working with those that are very dangerous persons. Let's say you're a trained killer, as an assassin, Pooch, one of these ex-military special forces. And you decided that you're just going to beat the shit right now. I, as a man, have worked with some of the most dangerous individuals in this nation.